All right, today I'm going to go over basic prone shooting position. I'm not going to get into a lot of complexities of it. There's a lot of stuff you could do. You could go and follow a lot of different trainers talk about it. Some in particular you might want to go check out Pat Mack. He talks a lot about shooting positions. Kyle Lamb does as well. There's a lot of really good shooters that have a lot of experience that will talk about this. But what I'm going to go over is just your basic positions of shooting prone. This video is being done on request, so you know who you are, and let me know if you have any feedback, the person or anyone else who watches this, if you have any questions, if you had any feedback or any comments or anything at all. So initially, I'm going to discuss starting with building a natural point of aim and your position when you lay down in the prone. Now, from my perspective, realize that shooting from prone seems to be the most, the mostly used when you're actually shooting qualifications. We don't, as Pat Mack has said, we don't live in a prone world. So it's not the best shooting position in the sense that it's not that quick to get into or out of. So remember that. For those of you who do this for a job and carry a gun for a job, remember prone position is not your most ideal position for those reasons in real life. So I'm just going to be using my gun is empty here. So I got an empty gun. I got a 16-inch here and a 10.5 inch. And I have an empty mag. The mag is important. So real quick, I'll get down into a prone position and then I'm going to adjust and talk through it as I do it. So starting with my feet in a prone position, you want your heels down if you can see that. So sometimes you see people with their up on their toes. Drop those down, get your heels down, get your feet flat. The main part and your goal with going prone is to get as much of your body on the ground as possible. So if you're sitting up like this, you're going to have a less stable position than if you have your chest and as much of your body on the ground as possible. So from here, with your rifle, you want to get the stock as deep and as tight into your shoulder pocket as you can. And that goes to all shooting, so it should be kind of intuitive, but make sure that you're driving that gun into your shoulder pocket and it's stable. Another point is the mag. Some people say you shouldn't put your mag on the ground when you shoot. I would say if you're having mag issues, feeding issues, because you put your mag on the ground when you shoot, then you need to get rid of that mag, because you want to shoot, if at all possible, get your mag onto the ground. It's going to give you a more stable position. So mag on the ground, tighten to the shoulder pocket, get a good cheek weld, and this arm, you want kind of a wide base. So this arm, you don't want to be directly on your elbow. You want it kind of wide and driving this arm back into your shoulder pocket so you can stay as low to the ground as you can. For building a natural point of aim, once you get into this position, natural point of aim means that it's where your dot or your sights are going to rest on with minimum or with no muscular input. So I'm not having to hold off to the side. So a good way that I've found to build a natural point of aim, so if you're doing qualification, build this natural point of aim and get used to doing it. The way that you're going to want to do it is get into your position, get the gun tight, and find your dot. Now, put your dot on the target, and from there, close your eyes, relax, breathe in and out. And when you breathe out, open your eyes and see where your dot lands. And that is without muscular input. If your dot is to the right of the target, if it's to the right, lift your hips up and shift them to the right. And do it again. And that's going to move your dot to the left. So it shifts the gun, if you can see. So and if your dot rests to the left, lift up your hips, shift them to the left. If you can see what I'm doing. So that way, you're adjusting your body so that without muscular input, you're naturally aiming directly at where you want to be. So that's a big part of it, building your natural point of aim. Outside of that, if you are in a position to where you can't get the mag on the ground, what you're going to want to do if you can't get the mag on the ground is lean. So if you have to shoot like this from prone, this is really unstable. What you're going to want to do is lean onto your support arm. Lean onto your support arm and get your mag and press your mag and put pressure of your mag into your support arm, and you can get a much more solid position that way because your arm now is acting as the mag was drilling it into the ground. So that's the position. I don't want to go too much in depth, but if you go and you build your natural point of aim like that, you will be shooting accurate. The only other thing I would say is that when you fire and when you're shooting, shoot on the bottom of your breath. So if I have my natural point of aim built, I'm all in there, I got my dot right where I want to be, breathe in, and when you breathe in, the sights will go up and down. Bang. So you want to shoot and pull that trigger and break that trigger at the bottom of your breath ideally. So when you watch your sights, you want that sight or that dot to be moving straight up and down on your target to where at the very end, it ends on your bottom breath, resting on your natural point of aim. So right there is dead on. If I breathe in, my sight goes down, rests right on it. So that way, as you shoot, whether it's a qualification or whatever you're doing with it, whether you're zeroing your rifle, you build a strong natural position, you make sure your natural point of aim is on, and then watch your breathing and watch your dot as your sight rises up and down, and break the shot when you are at the bottom of your breath and you're hitting your natural point of aim. So that's the basics of prone shooting. If you have any other questions or you have anything that is really a problem for you in particular that you're struggling with, that's uncomfortable or whatever, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And hopefully this helps out with what you've been dealing with. So take care.